first. Josh McCormick back to kick for the Tigers. Returnable for Ennis. Brought down just past the 15-yard line. That's where Julian Sayin in his second career start. He is coming out to lead the Buckeyes offense. Don't look at the numbers necessarily for what Julian Sayin did last week against Texas.
Right, and Ryan Day has spoken about this at length throughout the week. It was an intentionally conservative game plan. He said, especially at a place like Ohio State, where you're the quarterback in the face of a big-time program, you can ruin a guy before he even gets a chance to get his career going. But going back and watching the film, felt like Julian passed every single test. The numbers don't tell the full story. I mean, Jeremiah Smith will never have 2 drops again. Max Clare, I don't expect him to drop the ball. And really, I expect the exact opposite. Much more explosion for the Buckeye offense today.
James Peoples, the running back, Sayin back to pass on first down. Catch made. There's Ennis near the 30-yard line. And a first down for the Buckeyes.
And choosing to receive the football tells you everything you need to know about the game plan and the intentions for Ohio State today. The defense dominated the headlines last week, but expect the offense to give them a run for their money today.
Peoples gets the carry. They're going to pick up a 4. Second down and 6. And they're playing with tempo early. A brand new offensive line, couple of returners from last year, but this is a brand new front with Julian Sayin and his new toys.
So why the tempo? Well, because every rep counts at this point. Ryan Day said they are in a race with every team in college football to get better. Grambling State, I expect them to milk the clock. They want to slow down the game and limit Ohio State's possessions. So Ohio State wants to take every chance they can get.
End around to the outside, Ennis. They pick up a first down just past the 40-yard line. Starters for the Buckeyes offense. Seen James Peoples in the backfield. I mean, you've got 2 outstanding wideouts in Smith and Tate. Might be the best combo in the country.
Exactly, and throw in Max Clare, and you got 3 first-round type talents at wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, and tight end 1. It's not going to be fun game planning, trying to slow down this Ohio State offense.
There's Tate, his first catch. Staying in bounds, keeping the legs moving. Defensive starters for Grambling State, they're going to have their hands full to say the least, but this defensive front has some underrated size going against this front of Ohio State.
Yeah, and the guy to keep an eye on is number 4, the defensive end, Bryce Cage. He's preseason all SWAC. He's on the HBCU Player of the Year watch list. And talking to the DC, Jason Rollins, this week, you know, most teams come in and say, we got to stop the run. He told us coverage is the priority this week. Again, just giving all the respect in the world to Ohio State's weapons on the outside.
From the 49-yard line, second down and 2 for Ohio State. Pass, there's Smith, first catch of the day. It's a first down for the Buckeyes, and the swarming defense from Grambling State brought him down after a gain of 4.
There's the multiplicity. That's a little RPO right there, and Julian is just playing the number game. More bodies in the box, so he pulls it and throws the bubble. And I'll tell you one thing we'll see throughout the day, the blocking from Ohio State's wide receivers.
Sayin down the middle, catch! Going to the house, touchdown Buckeyes! Will Kazmarek for 47 and a score.
Well, Will Kazmarek, he had the most snaps of any Buckeye tight end last week and did a phenomenal job blocking. He had a key block to spring Carnell Tate's touchdown. And there's a standard here for Ohio State. If you want to play tight end, you have got to block. And if you do block, Jeff, you'll be rewarded with a touchdown.
How about Kazmarek make the touchdown catch, and now you're on the field goal and point after. 6 plays, 83 yards. Jay Fielding puts it through. Great opening rear touchdown. His first catch of the year goes for a score in the opening drive for the Buckeyes.
And he blocked his butt off last week. It's a great way to be rewarded for all the hard work he did.
Longest play of the season for the Buckeyes at 47 yards. Fielding kicks it through the back of the end zone by plenty. And let's go back to this touchdown, Jake.
So again, we told you there in the open, throw out the stat line from Julian Sayin last week, because this is what showed up all over tape. It's the tight spiral, it's the accuracy, it's the ball placement, striping the helmet of Grambling State's linebacker. Ryan Day said expect them. They are going to open things up today. Can't wait to see what Sayin does with the full playbook at his disposal.
Perfect start so far for Julian Sayin, as we'll see this ferocious Buckeye defense get back to work. They held Texas to just 7 points. Totally dominant from Matt Patricia.
Ferocious is a great word. Intimidating.
Xavier T-Set, the quarterback for Grambling State, back to pass into the flat. And a good gain on first down out to the running back Byron Eaton. First catch of the year for Eaton. Gain of 7. Xavier T-Set last week against Langston, just 5 incomplete passes and a win. So the offense put up 466 yards last week, Jake.
It was a great start to the season for T-Set. He only started 4 games last year, but his completion percentage was only 55%. So to complete 80% of your passes, great start. Bigger test today, though.
Oh my goodness, swarming defense. No gain, brings up 3rd down. Here's the offensive starters for Grambling State, and the offensive line certainly have to be concerned with what you're going to be dealing with this front from Ohio State. We do like some of their playmakers, Tyson George, Nick Howard, Tylon Williams, just to name a few on the outside.
And this is where things get really fun on 3rd down for Matt Patricia. That's Caleb Downs right there, the boogeyman, as I call him.
Creeping up towards the line of scrimmage, and a flag flies. Just 2 penalties against Ohio State last week. Referee Andy Special.
Offside, defense, number 96. Movement into the neutral zone, causing an offensive reaction. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Gives Grambling State a first down as Edric Houston, the guilty party. Here's that defense. A lot of guys that contributed last year, but now this is their time to shine, Jake.
Yep, brand new defensive line. Lost both your DNs, D tackles. In my opinion, this is the best linebacker room in college football. Certainly the most athletic, and Arvell Reese played out of his mind. Caleb Downs needs no introduction, but how about the player of the game for Ohio State, Jermaine Matthews? Had an interception and nearly batted one into Sonny Styles' hand for a 2nd turnover.
He's on the bottom of your screen. T-Set looking to the flat again. And a nice slip right through the hands of McClain. Gain of 7. C.J. Knighton, the tight end, with the catch.
So Ohio State defense, they have an offense tight mentality with all the different looks, the different fronts, 3-man, 4-man, 5-man. They move their linebackers around. Caleb Downs must have played 4 or 5 different positions. Before you even talk about executing against Ohio State's defense, it's the big challenge is mentally identifying what coverages and fronts they're in.
Trey Bradford, the setback. T-Set to pass again. Flushed out. And right on the stop is Caleb Downs. Nowhere to go.
No one has better closing speed in college football than Caleb Downs. So much fun competition. Whether it's Caleb or Jeremiah Smith, those 2 guys are competing for the best and the 2nd best players in all of college football. And that's a big tight end out there. And Knighton at 280 pounds, but Downs knocks him back.
3rd and 4 for Grambling State. Their opening possession. Heat coming. T-Set gets rid of it to the outside. And they're going to be short. Well short of the first down. Lorenzo Styles first to wrap up the receiver.
There is so much speed on Ohio State's defense. Called him out, Lorenzo Styles, the brother of Sonny Styles. Against a lesser defense, that might have been a first down. There was some space there, but there's closing speed at all 11 positions for the Buckeye defense.
You even saw the defensive end, Caden Curry, in pursuit. Brandon Innes to receive the punt. Takes a Grambling State bounce inside the 15-yard line, stops.
He's almost like LeBron James in the sense that this guy should be in the NFL right now, but he's got 2 more years left in college. Max Clare is in the running for the best tight end in college football, but this Buckeye tight end room is extremely, extremely deep, so opportunities may be limited. And for Grambling State, their best defender, in my opinion, is the defensive end, Bryce Cage there. He'll have to find a way to try to make quarterback Julian Sayin uncomfortable.
First drive netted a touchdown for Ohio State. Sayin back to pass again. Goes for Smith, wide open. Jeremiah Smith down the sideline. Touchdown, Buckeyes. I'd say that playbook is wide open, Jake.
I was going to say.
Pretty good start for this offense with that playbook wide open. His fielding kicks it through the back of the end zone again. Let's go out to Chicago. Dave Revson for a game break.
Well, Jeff, incredible start for Oregon against Oklahoma State. 3 offensive snaps, 2 touchdowns. Noah Whittington went 59 yards for a TD, and then DeCorian Moore 65 yards from Dante Moore for another score. 13-0 Ducks. They went for 2. Didn't get it, but up big early.
Thanks so much, Dave. The law firm of Moore and Moore up in Oregon, huh?
Yes.
We saw them last week. They were awfully impressive. Did not have a negative play until the final kneel down last week for Oregon.
DeCorian Moore, a 5-star freshman at wide receiver the Ducks are excited about. He gets the comps to Jeremiah Smith, but got to do it for a full season now. But, man, he's got the potential.
T-set brought down by Peyton Pierce. Picked up maybe a yard and a half. They'll give him 2.
We're excited about Peyton Pierce. The headlines are going to be dominated by Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese, but linebacker coach and Buckeye great James Laurinaitis is really, really high on Pierce. Thinks he's a 3rd starting linebacker for them. Constantly goes out of his way to mention him when talking to the media.
Handoff, Eaton tripped up and brought down. Sonny Styles using that speed. Jake, you got some more impact players. Brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance, Simple Human Sense.
I'm cheating a little bit. I'm buying some real estate. I said the entire running back room for Grambling State. Well, that's what Mickey Joseph told us. They're going to play 5 different guys. In my opinion, Arvell Reese was the best player on the field last week. I think he's in the running for the Buckeyes Award and All-American. And just like Jeremiah Smith, Caleb Downs is the man that needs no introduction.
Downs is on the line of scrimmage right now. 3rd down and long. It's all over the defensive front last week. On the blitz, T-set avoids one. T-set throws incomplete. That was Jermaine Matthews coming in hot from the corner.
This is what's so beautiful about Ohio State's defense. Everyone's going to have their attention on Caleb Downs. Well, here comes the pressure off the left side of your screen. It's a nickel pressure. So Grambling State thinks they have 5 for 5 right on the line of scrimmage. He just missed the sack. That's number 7, Jermaine Matthews, the defensive player of the game last week for Ohio State. But good luck identifying where the pressure's coming from and who.
Innes back to get another punt. Schifano lets it loose. Fair catch called for. And Innes.
That was dangerous.
That was very dangerous. Good hands there. 38-yard punt for Schifano.
He does best, and that's scored touchdowns. Even the coaches have to remind themselves that Jeremiah is still just 19 years old. There's not much to criticize, and offensive coordinator Brian Hartline admitted it can be easy to think you can just leave him alone when it comes to his training because he's that disciplined. But Hartline said there's still work to do, preaching the importance of staying hungry and always finding that extra 1%. This is just the beginning of his career, and the staff wants to make sure he's challenged daily and continuing to grow into that player we know he can be.
First play of 3rd drive goes to Peoples, wide open. He's got a first down past the 45-yard line. Jeremiah Smith, the 2nd longest touchdown pass in the program's history just moments ago. The longest 90 yards back in 13 against Cal. Sayin goes down the middle again. Jelani Thurman, the tight end, inside the 30-yard line for another first down. gashing this defense.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the wide receivers all the time with Ohio State, but Ryan Day has told us, and I watched him in practice, I would agree that this is the deepest and most talented tight end room Ohio State has ever had. Jelani Thurman, another freak at 6'6", 250.
Outside again, Smith puts a foot down, wrapped up, and 2 Tigers bring him down after a gain of 5.
Go back to that crossing route. That's Jelani Thurman right to the left of your tackle on the deep crosser here. Just working in and finding the zone. Good job feeling it by Julian Sayin. But when I was at our camp tour for the Big Ten Network, I was watching Thurman get matched up against Caleb Downs and some of the Ohio State defensive backs, and they'd be in great coverage position. But because of his size at 6'6", 250, he would just box him out and easily haul in the passes. They got so many options in that tight end room.
Sayin looking backside. Another catch made. Bennett Christian. I should say Max Clare, 86 on the catch. Clare is the smallest of the tight ends at 6'5", 245.
Man, he's tiny, right? No, I'm just kidding. He's special, and I felt like that was one of the more impactful transfer additions across the entire conference. Just because of the talent Ohio State has at wide receiver, teams are going to have to play safety help on the outside, which leaves a linebacker on Max Clare. Good luck. You're not going to cover him, but apparently Ohio State has 4 or 5 options at tight end.
Donaldson in the backfield. Another catch. Kasmerick brought down inside the 10. 9 for 9 so far for Julian Sayin.
This is what Ryan Day said. I mean, the biggest thing for Sayin against Texas is he didn't flinch, never looked rushed, was composed. The game didn't feel sped up in his first start, and you're seeing the continuation of that here this afternoon.
2nd down and 3. Pitch. It's on the ground. Who's got it? Ohio State has possession. C.J. Donaldson couldn't handle the pitch from Sayin.
Let's see what happened here. Was it a bad pitch or just... No, that's right in the pocket. That's a mistake there by Donaldson, and really the first negative play to end some of this massive momentum, a tsunami wave of Ohio State offensive momentum.
Didn't have many negative plays last week against Texas. Donaldson, the transfer from West Virginia. To the outside. Yes! Touchdown, Carnell Tate.
Highlight play last week, a highlight play now this week. They don't have a wide receiver 2 here in Columbus. They just have multiple wide receiver 1s. How about the location on the back shoulder throw here by Julian Sayin? And Carnell Tate going up strong, proving it there. That is definitely a touchdown by number 17.
Foot down, elbow inbounds.
Great location on that throw. That is textbook back shoulder fade by Julian Sayin.
2 weeks, 2 touchdowns for Carnell Tate. Extra point up and good. 21-0. 11 minutes into this game, and Sayin has been perfect.
10 for 10. And again, it goes back to the stat.
Another kickoff through the back of the end zone for Fielding. See if Grambling State can do anything against this defensive Ohio State. Now, tomorrow, volleyball tripleheader comes your way as the Buckeyes host Florida. Top-ranked Nebraska clashes with Cal. And USC faces Creighton. Live coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Grambling State, third possession. Handoff up the middle. And a gain of 4. Peyton Pierce with another tackle.
It's real subtle, but Grambling State goes on a dummy count. Then they change the play. But look at all the communication here. There's Pierce, there's Reese. I believe that was Caleb Downs on the right side of your screen. That was what was so impressive. You know, week 1 to run all the exotic looks and pressures as they did. They didn't blink. It's the intelligence and football IQ of Ohio State's defense. And you know, we asked Ryan Day about it, Jeff. He said they have 7 straight semesters with a 3.0 plus average team GPA, 1,000 APR. They're the only FBS Division I team that is able to say that.
And we're going to whistle on this second down play. Smart, physical, and the thing that we heard from all the coaches and even the players, they are so hungry after winning it all last year.
Right. I mean, it's what we do in the media. It's the question. I mean, Ohio State lost a lot of guys to the NFL, a lot of guys that are going to be playing in the NFL. But let's not forget the type of player that is recruited to Columbus, littered with 4 stars and 5 stars and high-profile transfers. It's just these guys' opportunity now to be the starter, to be the face of the Buckeye defense.
T-set sets up the bubble screen. Nice catch. Good blocking in front out across the 30-yard line. Brings up a 3rd down. Tylon Williams with a reception for Grambling State.
And this is a really nice play with Ohio State bringing the pressure. You see number 3, Lorenzo Styles, nickel pressure once again. And T-set feels that and throws into the pressure. Gets the ball out quick, so there is no sack potential. And now they get into a 3rd and manageable.
Changing the play, the line of scrimmage, 102,000 people inside the horseshoe. 3rd and short, handoff, and a 1st down for Grambling State. Good run by Bradford. He's a guy who had an offer from Ohio State at one point in his life.
Quite the journey. I started off at LSU, transferred to Oklahoma for a summer, back to LSU. Most recently at North Texas, and now finds his way as one of the impact players here on the Grambling State offense. There's that communication once again. Grambling State checking the play, Ohio State prepared and doing their own check.
T-set looking to the corner, short, good coverage by Davison Igbinosun.
Just to go back to that, it's always a question when you have an NFL coordinator that comes down to college. You know, do you have to simplify your scheme? Do you have to change anything about it? You know, in the NFL, it's a job. In college, you only have 20 hours during the week to work with your players. But, you know, with Matt Patricia and how intelligent he is, what a luxury to have not only the talent that Ohio State has, but the intelligence and the commitment to learning in their process. It makes for a dangerous combination here in Columbus.
It was gushing in our meetings yesterday. Everybody on that defensive side of the football. Play clock winding down, and we're going to get delay. And a timeout used before the delay of game. And Matt Patricia drawn to college because he wanted the opportunity to teach again. Kids are super focused, and they just absolutely love playing for Matt Patricia. You could just sense the energy that he had when we were talking with him.
And you know, he talks about how much he enjoys the communication and the relationship with the players. You know, the NFL is a complete business. It's kind of rigid and can be brutal at times. But here in Columbus, you're talking to kids that are 18 to 22 years old. You're helping mold and shape young men on top of trying to go out there and win a ton of games and achieve the ultimate goal together. It makes for a fun season.
Last week was Matt Patricia's first college game in almost 2 decades, guys, and he admitted it was an adjustment. The noise, crowded sidelines, but he says he embraces that chaos, which is why he stays on the sideline instead of moving up to the booth. And it's what he's always known. Bill Belichick did it as a DC with the Giants, and Patricia just feels like it's the best way, like you said, Jake, just to stay connected to his players.
Caden Curry wrapped up T-set for a loss of 1. Matt Patricia wants to be in the chaos. 3rd down and 11 for Grambling State.
This is where he gets to create chaos of his own. Full playbook open. You see, this is the first time we're seeing the 3-man defensive front. Looks like Ohio State's going to play sticks coverage and just rush 3.
T-set to the outside, catch, depend on the spot, and they're going to mark him about a yard short. Tyson George with the catch, a gain of 10, 4th and 1.
Joseph. Looks like he's keeping his offense on the field here. Understanding he may not have a ton of opportunities. Oh, it looks like they're ruling that an incomplete catch.
The officials came in and said no catch after initially saying yes, it was a catch. Takes away that 4th down and short possibility. Now here comes the punt team. Great shot here from our crew. Oh,
Looked like a catch to me, right?
yeah, they look pretty good.
Number 8, Tyson George. We're going to take a look at this.
Yeah, the officials are going to stop play and take a replay review of it. That looked like a pretty good catch. The ball was not jostling. He survived the play. It's a big difference between 4th and 1 and 4th and 11.
Interesting that they initially ruled it a catch.
Let's go out to LA. Mike Pereira standing by.
Yeah, they're looking at a little bit of the first rule, but to me, the hand is underneath the ball. He's going to the ground. It hits, and you're going to watch. Does he maintain control? Certainly does, in my opinion. So I think this is a catch.
It looked like his forearm was under the ball the entire way. I don't think the ball ever even hit the turf. See, his forearm kind of rolls underneath it there.
Good play by Tyson George. The freshman had 3 catches, 63 yards, and a score last week. Officials originally ruled that as a catch.
Yeah.
And it certainly would seem that this would go back to that 4th and 1 as opposed to 4th and 11.
Interesting, though, to
still dealing with some communication issues within the horseshoe and where we are, so they will say it as a completed catch. We can work on our lip reading skills over the course of the day.
catch, 4th and 1.
Yes. Simple and to the point.
Well, let's see. Remember, Ohio State had that goal line stand when Arch Manning tried to run the quarterback sneak on 4th and goal. Be interesting to see what Grambling State does here, whether or not they try to run right into the teeth of Ohio State's defense or not.
They're going to run it, and Grambling State's going to get it, and even more to the outside. Andre Cruz comes up with a 1st down and much more for Grambling State, gain of 19.
He did a good job fighting through some of those arm tackles from Ohio State, but I give a ton of credit to Grambling's offensive line. They won at the point of attack. They generated movement up front. And Andre Cruz, he's 5'10", 200. One of the challenges with those shorter running backs, sometimes they get lost behind the offensive lineman, but a good job keeping his legs moving and popping the run down the sidelines.
Cruz, a Chicago kid, slipped out of the hands of Taiwan Malone. First time in Ohio State territory. T-set to the outside. That's George again on the catch. Man-to-man miss and hammered by Sonny Styles. Getting towards the tail end of this first quarter. That should be the end of this quarter.
Max Clare was my preseason favorite for the Mackey. Lake McCree had a nice 70-yard explosive touchdown. And then Lindenmeyer, I think he's been at Nebraska for forever, it seems like. Helped lead Dylan Raiola and the Cornhuskers to a Week 1 victory.
Going to get another procedural penalty on Ohio State.
Offside. Defense, number 96. Movement forward in the neutral zone causing the offense to react. 5-yard penalty results in 1st down.
Second one on Edric Houston in this first half.
Houston's a guy, I mean, this defensive line, remember, this 4 new faces, 4 new starters. He was a 5-star defensive end that they moved inside last year. All the potential in the world. Got to avoid the self-inflicted pre-snap penalties.
Remember, had a big personal foul penalty in one of the big games last year for the Buckeyes. Handoff goes to Cruz. Picked up that 4th down conversion. Pushes forward for a gain of 1. And it looks like we have a Grambling State
Officials
player
timeout
down.
for an offensive injury.
That's the left tackle, Armand Bethea. Mickey Joseph. And that looks extremely painful for Armand Bethea will step aside, being assisted to the bench by his teammates. Head into the medical tent. See how that shuffles up the offensive line for Grambling State.
It's a big loss. Armand Bethea was one of the guys that he held in Ohio State offer way back when.
Second down and 9. Started his second quarter from Columbus. T-set over the middle and too high. Was looking for Tylon Williams.
Williams is only 5'8". Not a lot of catch radius there. All right, 3rd and 9. Remember on that 3rd and 11, Patricia went into sticks coverage. It was extremely conservative. I like this Ohio State defense when they are more attacking and aggressive. So let's see what the scheme is here down in the red zone on 3rd down from Matt Patricia. And it looks more aggressive.
There's 5 minutes of clock on this drive. T-set, empty backfield. T-set, incomplete. Igbinosun on the coverage. Never got any freedom. He was looking for Baron Miles.
It was aggressive, but then you see Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese. They both dropped out of it. Jermaine Matthews was playing very similar to the sticks coverage, just sitting back there before he triggered. And Igbinosun, that's what the best DBs do. They play with some swagger and intensity and passion.
36-yard attempt for Theodore Caballero. And he missed it wide right. First attempt of the year for Caballero, and he pushed it. Scoring opportunity missed for Grambling State.
Well, it's always a huge point of pride for any great defense, any defense in general. They want that 0. They want the shutout at the end of the game. Grambling State put together quite the drive, a chance to put some points on the board, but that one really didn't have a chance at all by Caballero.
The offense goes back to work. Sayin's been perfect so far in this first half.
You know, going into this, one of the things I was hoping to see or expecting to see was more explosive runs. But when Julian's throwing the ball the way he is, why go away from it?
We'll see what they do on their 4th drive. They've scored on all 3 of their drives so far. Traditional set for Ohio State. The handoff goes to Donaldson. Donaldson slips one and then gang tackled at the 30-yard line. Gatorade by the numbers. Sayin off to a pretty good start. Since 2015, 218 yards and 3 scores. Trails just C.J. Stroud, who's got the program record in terms of yards and touchdowns and a half. How about that half? Almost 400 yards and 6 scores back in November of 21 against Michigan State.
I couldn't believe I remember that game. That was a huge, huge matchup. I couldn't believe my eyes. The numbers that C.J. Stroud put up that day against Michigan State.
Play action. Sayin checks it down underneath, and he'll pick up a first down. That was Bennett Christian.
Yeah, I mean, that's a 2-yard completion, but it's just such smart football by Julian Sayin. It looked like he maybe could have squeezed one in to Carnell Tate on the corner route, but why not? Why not just take the easy completions and move the sticks?
More tempo. Good blitz pickup to the outside. Wide open. Smith. Another first down and out of bounds. Getting close to the 45-yard line.
Great catch on that blitz pickup by Donaldson. It takes all 11 for Ohio State to reach their full potential. Watch this. They're bringing nickel pressure off the right side of your screen, and Donaldson, he's a big back at 235 pounds, stones the blitzer, and that gives Sayin a clean pocket to get out to his go-to guy, number 4, Jeremiah Smith. 12 for 12.
Been perfect so far. Motion man was Bo Jackson. Sayin going for it all down the middle. He's got Tate. Catch inside the 20.
play calling here by Brian Hartline too. Send a man in motion. You see the safeties come downhill to trigger, and Carnell Tate in one-on-one coverage. Good luck, but what a great catch there too. That's not an easy catch over the shoulder. Sayin, he is wheeling and dealing right now.
Already for Sayin, it is his 4th completion of better than 25 yards. He has started 13 for 13. Trying to match Will Howard. And he will right there. Catch out of the backfield. That was Innes inside the 10-yard line.
And again, you could see typically in your first few snaps and starts, the game feels fast. And you can see when guys are thinking too much. Right now, Sayin, he has complete command of this offense.
Sayin, end zone, touchdown, Jeremiah Smith. Number 2 for him in the first half.
Well, it's just like the first touchdown. If there's one guy you better cover, it's number 4, Jeremiah Smith. For some reason, Grambling State, I think it has to do with the tempo, just completely drops him. You see him wide open there in the back of the end zone. If you have one on him, you're not going to stop him. You usually need 2 on him. But if you leave none on him, Sayin's going to find him.
2 catches, 2 touchdowns, 119 yards. As Fielding kicks it through, and a new program record for Ohio State. Julian Sayin, 15 for his first 15 for almost 300 yards and 4 scores. Perfect pass to Ohio Stadium. They've been treated to an offensive explosion. Julian Sayin and company. Returnable for Grambling State. Tylon Williams will not get to the 16. Just past the 15, and here's this defense, Jake, led by Arvell Reese, finally getting his time to shine.
In my opinion, he was the best player on the football last week. Talk about a big and violent linebacker, 6'4", 243 pounds, stuff in the stat sheet. And linebacker coach James Laurinaitis, he put it perfectly. He said he's got violence at the point of attack and ability to run. Yes, James, that would sum him up right there. You know, it's a big storyline for Ohio State's defense is replacing some of the veterans. You know, Cody Simon, a guy that played a ton of snaps at linebacker for the Buckeyes, he's off to the next level. Well, Arvell Reese looks like he has a chance to be even more special.
Handoff up the middle, stonewalled and brought down. C.J. Hicks was the one that laid the helmet. Loss of 2.
C.J. Hicks, a former linebacker, now playing defensive end. He was the first to the party. Get some help from Sonny Styles. Number 95, Malone Jr., he's in on the action.
Grambling State has just 4 first downs in the game. That's the 5th tackle for loss for this Buckeyes defense. Tony Phillips, the running back, gets the carry. He's brought down short of the 20-yard line. Igbinosin in on the stop.
Hasn't been much pressure on Grambling State, and I give credit to T-Set. He's been getting the ball out quick. For Ohio State, you'd love to see someone get home. I got my eyes on Arvell Reese once again. He was the best pass rusher last week.
Third down and long. T-set. It's intercepted. Caleb Downs picked it clean. He'll haunt your dreams, Jake.
It's the chess match. Good luck identifying who's going where. Downs was at the line of scrimmage, looked like he was going to bring pressure. Steps up initially and then drops back, and they send Sonny Styles. Complete confusion here from T-Set. You see, he accounts for Caleb Downs as if he were a blitzer, but Downs drops right into that slant, and that is not an easy catch. That had some zip on it, and he was only about 7 yards away from the quarterback T-Set, but great hands there by Caleb Downs. Just a special player, Jeff.
First pick of the year for Downs. He had a couple last year. The versatility from Caleb Downs. Peoples in the backfield. Peoples on the carry. Getting to the outside. Brought down just outside the 10-yard line. Good run for James Peoples.
Well, Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins, both off to the NFL. It's C.J. Donaldson and James
Officials
Peoples.
timeout for a defensive injury.
Blake Davis, the defensive back for Grambling State, is down.
Second Grambling State player that has needed some medical attention. So left tackle Armand Ohio State, second down and 1. Julian Sayin still perfect, 15 for 15. He's almost thrown for 300 yards in this first half.
And you got a few options. I mean, you could run the ball, but if you're trying to bring a Heisman to Columbus, it's going to be on the shoulders of Jeremiah Smith. Watch him breaking out to the left there in the huddle. He's the middle receiver, number 4. Can't miss him. That's where you go if you want to bring a Heisman to Columbus.
Handoff. Peoples got a first down and out of bounds near the 5-yard line. Just the 7th rushing attempt so far for Ohio State.
Right, you might look at the yards and say, just in the low 40s, what's going on? Well, they just have had so much success throwing the ball. There hasn't been much opportunity, but again, I go back to the Heisman conversation. You'd love to sell your players. I'm looking at number 4, trying to get him a 3rd touchdown, Jeff. Well, he's on the sideline, so.
Part of that rushing attack is that bad pitch from Sayin, so it's a -7 on his ledger. They've run the ball very efficiently. People still in the backfield. Tate in motion. Tate's going to get it. Nice hit. Tate survives. He's inside the 5-yard line. Good tackle by Tyrell Raby.
That was a physical tackle, but Carnell Tate, he's got no issues with physicality. He had some huge blocks last week.
Second and goal from the 5 for the Buckeyes. Coming up on 8 minutes to go in this first half.
All right, Jeremiah's back in. Remember, Julian threw a beautiful back shoulder fade to Carnell Tate earlier in the game.
Looking to the outside, and it's intercepted. That was Raby again. Came in and had the big hit on Tate, then in coverage. He gets the pick, and the first incompletion of the day is a pick for Grambling State.
Well, that's
16 for his first 16.
Yeah, and that's just a mistake there. The first mistake from Julian Sayin. You see on the left hash going all the way out to the far side of the field. You cannot be late on this throw because it gives the defensive back, Raby, a chance to undercut it. And that's exactly what happened right there. Had a chance to get that ball out. If it was thrown earlier, then you give Tate a chance to come back downhill. But if you're late from the left hash to the far right sideline, gives Raby a chance to undercut it for his 2nd interception of the season.
Drive started on the Grambling State 21-yard line following the Caleb Downs pick. From the 1-yard line for Grambling State. Handoff up the middle. Andre Cruz wrapped up by Peyton Pierce. Short gain.
So watch Tate. He's working here, and they're going to run a little slant route by Jeremiah Smith. But watch Tate there in the slot. This ball needs to be up and out early. Right there when he puts his foot in the ground, you make that throw to that exact pylon. And Tate had separation where he could have came back and made the play. But because Julian was late, that's what caused the interception.
A little bit of breathing room for Grambling State on the 2nd down play. T-set to the outside, open, and catch incomplete.
I think he caught that.
Keith Jones was the intended receiver. The official coming down saying he was out of bounds.
Right.
Ruling on the field was an incomplete pass. 3rd down.
Oh, was his right foot down though? It's a good job by Lorenzo Styles to.
Does he have possession right here? Looks like his foot is down. Did he maintain the possession all the way through?
Looks like it. I think that's a catch. And a really strong catch by Keith Jones, 6'4", 185 pounds, so a bigger wide receiver.
And the officials will take another look at it.
The previous play was a catch. It'll be Grambling State, first down at the 22-yard line.
Expedited review from the crew. Good work.
Taking another look at it. You see the right foot come down first right there. Good strong hands by Keith Jones.
Just beat the possession before that left foot hit the paint of the line.
The crowd doesn't like it, but I got a feeling that would have been their reaction regardless, supporting their defense. But that's Lorenzo Styles, that's a physical safety, and came out and tried to pry that ball loose.
Senior has the opportunity to play with his brother Sonny. One more year. Under 7 to play in this first half. T-set to pass again. T-set. Running out of time. He's going to run. He's got some space and finally slides down for a first down for Grambling State.
He's got that ability. He only had 1 carry for 5 yards in his first game. Again, there hasn't been much pressure when he's dropped back to pass today. It was a good job in the back end by Ohio State's defense. They were trying to run crossers and they passed them all off. T-set noticed that and made something out of nothing with his legs.
Fresh set of downs, and again this drive started at the 1-yard line for Grambling State. Handoff up the middle and a pickup of 3. Eaton on the carry. Another one of these 5 running backs for Grambling State that Mickey Joseph wanted to mix in. Use them all when they get into conference play. It's an opportunity to get some live game action against somebody other than yourself, right? T-set to the outside. And a nice tackle on Keith Jones. That was McLean. Got him by the shoestring.
McLean had a heck of a game against Texas. The sophomore played every single snap. 8 tackles on the day. And again, there's just so much speed in the back end of this Ohio State defense. A good job triggering right as that ball was caught by McLean.
Third and 7 from the 36 for Grambling State.
Here's Arvell Reese right here. He's lined up over the right guard.
T-set goes across the middle, incomplete. He had a man open in space, Jordan Bride, but Bride dropped it. 4th down coming up.
And you got to make these opportunities when you get the chance. He had a ton of space. Ohio State was in man-to-man coverage, and he put that right on the upfield shoulder for Jordan Bride. If he catches that, he has some space to run. Bailed out Ohio State's defense.
And Mickey Joseph was the first one to go up to Bride, say, hey, it's all right, hang with us. Building blocks. Ooh, penalty marker down. Ennis on the return. Ennis tripped up. Nice play by the long snapper, Peyton Huff, who got down and made the play.
I didn't see what the penalty was. It's right at the line of scrimmage, though. Okay, false start or illegal formation by Grambling State.
Do you want to make them re-kick? Saw this last week at Oregon, Jake.
Illegal formation, offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. 4th down.
They're going to make him re-kick.
Teachable moment. You know why? Well, I'll tell you why, Jeff. You don't know why.
We learned this
always
last week.
take
You were
the
with us.
penalty. Yes, it's the fun part. It's the teachable part. It's good coaching. You always force the team to re-kick because it's more exhausting to go down on coverage. So you're betting on them being a little bit tired from having to sprint down and try to make the tackle.
Last time we saw this, it resulted in a blocked kick and about a plus 60 in terms of yards from last week.
Remember, this has been a piece that Ryan Day's been trying to work on, the punt returning. Wants to see an improvement for a few years and an opportunity for Brandon Inniss.
Already going to be better. Inniss has it. And again, it was the long snapper that was in on the stop. He's loving it. Give him a great opportunity. Let's go downstairs. Brooke Fletcher, more on Julian Sayin.
After he threw that interception, Julian Sayin came to the sideline shaking his head and immediately went to his iPad to review film. And for a young quarterback like him, that resource has been huge. Ryan Day said it lets him instantly compare what he just saw to the film, which confirms things in real time. In the past, you wouldn't know until you sat in the film room the next day. And Day said they used that to their advantage last week, and I'm sure he's using it to make adjustments here in this game, guys.
Thanks so much, Brooke. Julian Sayin, one incompletion so far was the interception, and the other two quarterbacks were right in that conversation with Julian Sayin, who's going to pass again. The outside, there's Tate. Nice pitch and catch down to the 45-yard line. An opportunity maybe to see some of Lincoln Kienholz and maybe the freshman Tavian St. Clair at some point today. And the way that Sayin's chucking the rock right now, might not want to leave this game.
Yeah, I mean, I got to expect we'll see all three at some point. But, you know, this was a quarterback battle all the way through spring ball, all the way through fall camp. And, you know, to me, watching practice, I felt like Julian Sayin was the correct choice. And really, why is what you're seeing today. They just have so many weapons. You need a point guard, a ball distributor like you're seeing right here.
Inniss with blockers in front of him. Inniss out of bounds in plus territory at the 46.
The freshman Tavian St. Clair, he really wasn't in the battle. It's going to take him some time, and every rep counts. But it was a battle between Sayin and Kienholz. And Kienholz, they're different quarterbacks. Kienholz is more of a bigger kid, a true playmaker, athletic. He's dynamic, strong, a more vocal leader. But Julian Sayin is what you see is what you get. It's the accuracy, it's the pre-snap processing, the ball placement, throws such a pretty ball. And with the weapons Ohio State has, that's what you bet on.
Peoples to the outside and brought down by the shoulder pads. John Horton wrestled him down after a gain of 10.
And a good job blocking too. They've had a lot of success there running off the right side. Taking a look if it's a horse collar. No horse collar, no face mask. They've been running behind big number 70 Phillip Daniels, the Minnesota transfer.
Play action, Sayin. First pressure he's seen all day. Sayin going to tuck it and run out of bounds. 2:36 to go in this first half. No gain for Sayin on the run.
So it's not a true 2-minute situation, but still valuable reps here. It's the context for Sayin. Operating this offense, you don't want to give the ball back to Grambling State, so you're aware of the snap count. He's talking to Hartline here, so they can get on the same page and figure out what they want to accomplish here over these next few plays.
Coming up on the 2-minute timeout. Inniss in motion.
Great
handoff. Donaldson down the right sideline. Donaldson inside the 10. First and goal, Buckeyes.
That's a beautiful.
Donaldson in the backfield. See Nate Roberts on the field for the first time. He goes in motion. Donaldson's got it. Donaldson up the middle inside the 5.
How about Nate Roberts and what Ryan Day told us? A strong statement. We asked about him. He came in as a fullback to help punch it in on 4th and goal last week. He said Nate Roberts, he's one of the best young ones we've had here.
Again, Donaldson goes right up the middle. Brings up 3rd down. Just the second 3rd down that Ohio State has had in the game.
to go back to Nate Roberts. I mean, they are just, it is a complete Rolodex. Now they're sending in 2 more tight ends, taking out Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. I'm in heaven. 4 tight ends on the field right now.
Blair, Kasmerick, Roberts. And they got 5 tight ends that we've seen so far today.
Over 1,000 pounds of tight ends on the field here.
That's good beef. In the eye. Give it to Donaldson up the middle. Donaldson pushes through for the touchdown.
Well, how about this too? C.J. Donaldson started his career at West Virginia. Technically, he was listed as a tight end. So running behind number 83, the freshman tight end, Nate Roberts. Second straight week where he's just road grading, playing that fullback position. And Donaldson, there's an art to scoring down inside the 5 where the field gets shorter. 11 touchdowns 2 years ago, 11 touchdowns last year. Now off to a good start with a few touchdowns to start this season.
Touchdown run last week against Texas in his Ohio State debut. Up and through for the extra point for Fielding. 35-0 under a minute to go. 5 touchdowns, 4 different players in this first half.
They have options, they have weapons, but really the best offenses. You ever heard the term complementary offense? Well, we saw exactly that on this drive by Brian Hartline. So here comes this jet sweep motion. It's something that Ohio State does as one of their base plays. This time they're throwing out to Carnell Tate. It's a jet sweep motion and then effectively a little bit of a bubble route. So you're forcing Grambling State to defend the width of the field. Now watch right here. This is Brandon Innes that comes in motion. He's in the slot down to the right side, and they're going to bluff the motion and then pull guys up underneath against the grain. So there's the motion. There comes the pullers. And what you have is a running back in C.J. Donaldson running untouched 25 yards down the field.
You got Jelani Thurman, who's trying to lead block for him, and he didn't touch anybody.
No one to block.
Really smart offense by Brian Hartline. His first time ever calling plays was last week against Texas.
Yeah, what a test. And you know, he's been with Ryan Day for nearly a decade now. They spent so much time together, and he talks about how valuable their relationship is and what it meant for his comfortability in such a big moment.
Jake, you love talking about tight ends. 4 have caught passes already today.
I got to ask you, Jeff. I mean, I'm biased. I'm a tight end guy. Have you been converted yet? Does this get you excited seeing all the tight ends move down the field?
Big time. Kasmerick for the touchdown. You had Thurman get involved.
They got so many options.
Bennett Christian's involved.
And they block well too. You know, it's the totality of their potential. Again, Ohio State, when you talk about wide receiver U, is it Ohio State? Is it Alabama? Is it LSU? I mean, you're always going to think some of the great Buckeye wide receivers. But I do believe it's true that this is the deepest and most talented tight end room that we've seen in Ohio State history.
Go up the middle, and Bradford out to the 30-yard line. 5 catches, 89 yards, and a score for the touchdown for the tight end room so far. And Roberts was the lead blocker on the last running touchdown. Grambling State will have the football coming out of halftime. And this has been a clinic from Ohio State in this first half.
Gonna get a false start somewhere on the left side of the line there.
False start. Offense number 52. 5-yard penalty, second down. Grambling State has elected to use a timeout to avoid a potential 10-second subtraction.
Starting right tackle Aaron Mahoney Bean, who slid over to the left side after the injury to Bethea.
Mickey Joseph choosing to call a timeout there. Was curious if he'd just let the clock run and take it into half.
T-set to pass. T-set runs out of bounds and pushing out of bounds. Ooh, big hit on the sideline. Support staff.
Patricia there to help him out. He said he likes to be in the chaos.
That was some chaos right there. That's a big hit.
All right, third down. If you're Ohio State and if you're Matt Patricia, the one missing piece here has been a disruptive pass rush. Remember, that was a huge reason Ohio State was able to make the run they were last season. All great defenses need an elite pass rusher. Let's see if Grambling State decides to drop back here, if anyone can get home.
16 seconds to go. They're going to run it. Bradford tries to slip out and then swallowed up by a slew of Buckeyes. And that will more than likely end this first half. And it has been utter domination from Ohio State.
Grambling is going to rotate too, right? I mean, Mickey said, hey, you're traveling 80. We plan to play all 80. So it'll be a fun second half here for a number of guys getting a chance to take the field here in Columbus.
Byron Eaton starts the second half in the backfield.
How about a new guy down at the bottom of your screen, right on the 30-yard line there above the score box. It's number 6, the freshman Devin Sanchez.
Handoff goes to Eaton and swallowed up in the backfield. Caden McDonald, and the ball popped out. They didn't stop play, and it's a touchdown for Ohio State. Riley Pettyjohn picked the ball up and scored.
How about that? That's what this second half is about. The youth, the future of Ohio State. Pettyjohn, true freshman, but let's take a look at it here.
It was McDonald initially, and
that is out. The ball's low.
See if he still has control of this with a leg down or a knee down. Looks like
that looks like
loose.
It's coming loose, yeah.
Caden McDonald, who had a huge game against Texas, 8 tackles, forces a fumble. It was Pettyjohn who picked it up and scored from 22 yards. 10 seconds into the second half as Fielding puts another one through. 6 touchdowns in the game. Now you get a defensive score from Matt Patricia.
Caden McDonald picking up right where he left off last week. You said 8 tackles. What an impressive day. Most tackles from a nose since 2012 for Ohio State. And then Pettyjohn, the freshman, picking it up, the scoop and score. And McDonald, that's just a great athlete for a guy that's 330 pounds. You know, he played basketball back in the day. We had a great conversation with him in our meetings on Friday. He said he was putting up 30 points way back when.
I mean, I'd love to see the stat sheet on that. That's unofficial, 30 points a game. Pettyjohn got good bloodlines. His dad played at Syracuse.
For
Matt Patricia.
There we go.
All comes full circle.
That was funny. Matt Patricia said his first meeting, he walks in, he looks at Pettyjohn, does a double take. Like, you look familiar. Did your dad play at Syracuse?
And a touchback for Fielding and the Buckeyes, and we'll get another offensive possession for Grambling State. Let's go downstairs with Brooke Fletcher.
Yeah, Caden McDonald and Caleb Downs, they are teammates, but they are also really good friends. You can see them celebrating right there on that last drive. They actually grew up in Georgia together, went to Parsons Elementary School in Suwanee, played football, played basketball together, even guarded each other at recess. Caden, of course, noted that he's the better basketball player, but Caden said something really funny, you guys. He said they made a bet that he was going to get to the ball first. I believe Caleb actually got to the ball first with that pick in the first half, but regardless, they both have to be happy with each other's performances.
All right, thanks so much, Brooke. Going to get a new quarterback in there, Ashton Fry, 6'5", 195. So Fry will get the tote. Native out of Birmingham, Alabama. Yeah, Downs was the first one to get to the football, right?
That's a great note by Brooke. I forgot he had said that. They had the bet against Texas last week. It'll probably be an ongoing bet. Downs with the interception in the first half wins this week's battle.
Well, Caden McDonald also said that Devin Sanchez was going to get a pick today.
That was his other bold prediction, okay?
We'll see. Oh, there's a pick.
Is it?
Yes, an interception. That's Aaron Scott, his first career pick. And we're going the other way.
On the field is an interception. First and 10, Ohio State.
Well, I thought it was number 6. I thought it was Sanchez, but nope, it's Aaron Scott. And high 4-star. Some sites had him as a 5-star, so he's got the talent. And you know, it's a good chance to kind of think about Ohio State's secondary here as we prove that this was a catch. And it may not be. But, you know, Jeff, the depth of Ohio State's wide receiver room will get discussed consistently. I think the depth of the cornerback room may be just as good.
Officials are going to take another look at this, it would seem.
The previous play is under further review.
So Scott potentially with his first interception of his young career. Mike Pereira's out in Los Angeles. What do you see here, Mike?
I don't think he's going to keep that interception of his young career. Look at, he really doesn't have the ball controlled there, and he's going to use the ground, to me, to try to complete the catch. To me, this looks more incomplete than complete.
Thanks so much, Mike. Ran off of his chest pad there.
Still just great technique, too. Playing strong through the receiver, instinctual, reading the route, coming downhill and taking the proper angle to cut it off. And just the final step is completing the catch. A close one, though. I just thought that was crazy. I was like, did we really say Devin Sanchez is about to get a pick? And then the very next play.
First thing I would have done once this game was over was go buy a lotto ticket. Yes. What I would have done. But not to be.
Would you have split it with me? Because we were kind of in it. Can we split it as a crew, maybe?
Sure.
Okay.
After review, the pass was incomplete. It'll be Grambling State's ball, 3rd down, the 28-yard line.
The lotto ticket would be like our NIL deal, Jeff. Would be. Maybe could be. I guess we still got a chance here.
I mean, if you're sharing the cost of the ticket, then yes.
Yes, okay.
Then we'll share the winnings. 3rd down and 7. Sanchez at the bottom of your screen.
There's Sanchez down there, yep.
See where Ashton Fry is going to go on this 3rd down. He dumps it across the middle and a 1st down for Grambling State.
You know, this is such an important half. There really wasn't a ton of rotation week 1 against Texas. And even with all the new faces, there's a number of guys in that starting unit on offense and defense that played every single snap. That doesn't mean that's going to be the case in big moments all season. It's just a trust factor. So now these are the opportunities for the young guys and the 2nd and 3rd string to prove to Coach Day and Patricia and Hartline that they can be trusted and earn more opportunities going forward.
Peyton Pearson on the stop. Saw Pettyjohn already with a scoop and a score. 2 very young, outstanding linebackers that they are very high on.
I want to talk about the culture too. You know, this is how you become a dynasty, is you recruit high-level recruits, 4 stars, 5 stars, and then you allow them to practice against your best veterans every single day.
Ooh, nice catch. Wow. And a hit from the outside. It's Knighton with the reception, his 2nd catch, and favoring his right arm.
Man, that was a heck of a catch. Wow, great location there by Fry. It's a tight window to get it in there to his tight end, Knighton.
Got it over the head of Fahim Delane. Another safety that they're very high on as Knighton is still down.
Officials timeout for an offensive injury. Timeout on the field.
Step aside for just a moment. 42-0 Ohio State. They get some action at some point. Saying a near perfect first half for Ohio State. 3rd down and short for Grambling State. And we'll have another procedural penalty on Grambling State.
False start. Offense, number 4. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Tight end Patrick Williams, transfer from Arizona State. 4th penalty on Grambling State. And that does not look like a two-way conversation there with Nick Howard. That was one way from Mickey Joseph. Said he wanted to come into the horseshoe, wanted to play clean, and get out of town healthy. Fry to pass. Fry across the middle, deflected. That was Pettyjohn, got his hand in there to knock it away. 4th down.
It's a really nice job. Football's a game of matchups, and a lot of offensive coordinators like their running backs on a linebacker. That's Trey Bradford, who had 1 catch for 22 yards. He's an impact receiver and pass catcher as a running back. And for the freshman Pettyjohn, he was fully prepared. That's an H-choice route. It's hard to cover. Not for Pettyjohn.
Bryson Rogers is back deep to receive this punt. Trying to return it reverse field. He's got some open grass out there. Made a man miss. He gets to midfield. Bryson Rogers with a nice return. Big Ten Plus gives you access to more live Big Ten games. Tomorrow you can see a top 15 field hockey matchup between the Buckeyes and Syracuse. Download the Big Ten Plus app today. It's always game on. New quarterback into the ball game. Lincoln Kienholz.
Excited to see him. You know, he's a dual threat quarterback, and Coach Day said he's got athletic traits that it's just kind of hard to simulate in practice. You know, you don't want your quarterbacks taking a ton of hits, but you know, Kienholz is a really dynamic runner, great athlete, great playmaker. Was voted an Iron Buckeye by the strength staff and his teammates this offseason. Basically,
video review, there was a fair catch signal given by the receiving team. The ball will be placed at the 24-yard line. 1st and 10 for Ohio State.
So the officials going back, there was a fair catch signal, and then he decided to run with it anyway. That would negate that long run, a 26-yard return.
It's a point of emphasis this offseason. Let's see, yep.
Bryson Rogers, Jr.
Yep. It's subtle, it's close, but this is
it's just enough
emphasis. Yep, exactly.
We've seen that before. Think about Cooper DeJean, Iowa, a few years ago. Wiped out a potential touchdown.
Not quite the stakes for this game, but yes, that's what they're trying to eliminate.
Kienholz in the game, hands it off to Peoples, up the middle, gets a big hit after a gain of 9. Peoples running the ball hard today, Jake.
Remember calling some of the games last year when he'd get in late in the 4th quarter, and Ryan Day said, yeah, we think he can be special. He's got the juice. He's probably more like the Travion Henderson.
Threw behind his intended receiver. That was Rogers, got hit, but it's a 1st down for Ohio State.
Nice hit by Jamal Jordan there. But yeah, Peoples, you know, you think about this, the division of carries, you know, it's Peoples and C.J. Donaldson. That's how it is in Ohio State. You know, it's Travion Henderson and Quinshaw Judkins. They like to keep their backs fresh.
Kienholz sets up the wide receiver screen, incomplete. Was looking in the way of Jelani Thurman, the tight end. Had some heat on him.
Do want to go back. So the Iron Buckeye, I just think that's such an important note here, because it just signals that he has the respect of his strength staff and his teammates. You know, that's for the work he put in during winter conditioning and summer conditioning, and typically you wouldn't expect to hand that award to a quarterback. So it kind of says a lot about what the locker room thinks of Kienholz, even though he didn't win the starting job.
Handoff goes to Peoples, right side. Peoples tries to hurdle a man and gets out of bounds. Got 3/4 of the way there. Jalen Keyard. He got the business end of that knee.
I think if he jumped a little bit sooner, he might have cleared him. I've never gotten that high even on a trampoline. But that's the dynamic duo. I mean, Donaldson was a guy that's 245 pounds, comes to Ohio State. He lost about 10 pounds, closer to 230 now. He's more of your bruiser. We've seen him inside the 5-yard line, whereas Peoples is more your dynamic, quick, agile, speedy running back.
Keenholt's going to run with it. Keenholtz is going to pick up a first down. Just enough to move the chains. Another part of his game that he's got. He can run with it.
Right, so that is the piece right there. This is not going to be a completely different offense, even though Keenholtz can run. You know, that's a handoff that Julian went to in the first half. It's just they don't tag an option with Julian. So it's an automatic handoff for Julian, whereas Keenholtz, he has the ability to read the defensive end and then go do what he did there, which is get some tough yards.
Did not play at all last year. 3 games in his freshman year. Peoples. Ooh, man, he got rolled up on, and a flag comes out, and Peoples seems to be all right. That could have been nasty.
Wow.
I mean, his legs were underneath a defender, and then they popped out, thankfully.
Yeah. And now Bo Jackson, the talented freshman, is in the game for Peoples. First look at him. Glad Peoples is okay.
Here's the call.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 11. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic, first down.
Called Devin Williams on it, and I mean, it's violent for sure. I don't think he ever got the face mask on it.
Oh.
He never got a grasp of that face mask. Thank goodness for Peoples that he was getting up and wants to check back into the game.
All right, that's Bo Jackson, number 25 in at running back.
Keenholtz to throw wide open. He's got David Adolph. Pickup of 8. Drive summary, Jake. It's brought to you by American Family Insurance. All of the drives coming up with touchdowns, with the exception of this interception, which followed the pick from Caleb Downs.
And look at the time of possession, too. I mean, these were not long, drawn-out drives. It was drives based on explosion.
Across the middle, that's a first down, and near the 10-yard line for Bryson Rogers.
Nice throw there by Keenholtz. It's basically a quick play action. One-man read. It's single high safety, and Rogers is running that post route. So he's got outside leverage by the corner, sits in that zone in between the corner and the safety. Keenholtz is ready and delivers a strike.
Keenholtz in the keyhole.
Oh,
you like that?
Yes.
Jackson still in the football game in the backfield. Jackson on the carry, up the gut. Bo Jackson, touchdown Buckeyes.
Great finish to the drive there by Bo Jackson, and I'll make my bold prediction as the season goes on. You will be seeing more and more of number 25. Heard his name all throughout fall camp. His high school coach said he's the total package. He's a great receiver. Ryan Day said he thinks he could hold his own if he was a wide receiver, but just another one of the talented Ohio State freshmen as he gets over there with his running back coach, Carlos Lachlan.
Well, Bo knows the end zone. 1 carry, 1 touchdown in his collegiate career. And the kick is up and good from the backup kicker for Jeremiah Smith. The 2 touchdowns. Sayin had just 1 incompletion. There's only been 1 ball that has hit the turf by a quarterback today for Ohio State. All right, let's go out to Chicago. Check in with Dave Rebsey.
Okay, Jeff, Rutgers offense rolling early on this season. Nathan Kaliakmanis to KJ Duff. Second TD pass the game, 24-7 over Miami of Ohio.
Thank you so much, Dave. As Ryan Day and the Buckeyes up 49-0. Halfway through this first quarter, or I should say third quarter, second half.
Tomato, tomato. I don't think that works there.
I feel like I'm in Groundhog Day. Up the middle, good run by Cruz. Second big run of the day for Andre Cruz for Grambling State. Remember, he had the 4th down pickup in the first half, picks up 16 here.
Good job up front by Grambling State, putting a body on a body and creating a nice hole there for number 13, Andre Cruz.
Ashton Fry, the backup in after the first possession of the second half. Zay T-set, handed it off, turned into a scoop and score. First down and 10, handoff again to Cruz, and he is level. Pettyjohn again. He had the touchdown, and now he's got a stick.
Ryan Day said this defense is playing with a different type of swagger, a different type of energy. My goodness, what a shot. Right there in the middle of your screen. You can't miss him. We've called his name a ton. The true freshman, Riley Pettyjohn, meets you in the hole. Talk about pad level, double leg takedown, and pops the ball out, Jeff.
Ohio State Buckeyes jumped all over it. That was Will Smith on the recovery, so Pettyjohn having himself a day. He's got a touchdown. He's got a fumble forced.
That's going to go on the tackling teach tape this offseason. I mean, you can't have a better form tackle.
We got another turnover. New running back in the ball game for Ohio State, Isaiah West. West gets the carry over the right side. West out to the 35-yard line. This is form tackle and the dictionary definition of it, Jake.
Yes, and for you young football players out there, get out your notepad or your iPhone and take notes right there. Talk about pad level. You want your head out of it. You don't want to lead with the crown of your helmet. You want to hit with your shoulder, wrap up, and then run your legs on contact. Just textbook perfect tackling form there at Pettyjohn.
Keyholtz to the outside, making a man miss. Mylan Graham inside the 15-yard line. He can shimmy and shake.
Mylan Graham was the star of Ohio State spring ball. He's only a sophomore, but man, they were talking about him like he might be the next great Buckeye wide receiver. And a great job being patient, nice strong hand catch, and what he does special is it's his yards after the catch. He had a touchdown in the spring game on a post route. And they're showing off some of that yak ability.
7 plays of 20 or more yards today for Ohio State by 7 different players.
And Mylan Graham, he's majoring in real estate and urban analysis.
Oh, yeah? West puts his foot down. West is in. Touchdown. Isaiah West was going west.
Both Isaiah West and Bo Jackson, I know these guys got NIL money these days. They deserve to take the O-line and tight ends out to eat, because both of the young running backs' touchdowns were effectively untouched into the end zone. Ryan Day, when we asked him, hey, who are you excited to see today? He immediately mentioned Isaiah West. Tore his ACL last year, got cleared, and great to see him back out on the football field.
Philly kid scores in Columbus. Those things. Their own version of the Bubble Boy. 56-0. 6:16 to go, in Ohio State doing exactly what they wanted to do. Offense, defense, special teams. The only guy that hasn't really done much is Joe McGuire. He has no punts, but he's held on 8 PATs. There's a guy you want to look for, Devin Sanchez, freshman out of Houston.
There's a long line of great Buckeye defensive backs, and Devin Sanchez looks to be next in line. You know, for a true freshman, he played 11 snaps against Texas, and in key situations. He was out there on the final drive, and you know, I just want to talk about the culture Ryan Day has built. You think about Alabama when they build their dynasties. There's Sanchez. You know, when I'm at the camp door, how valuable is it for a 5-star freshman to go against Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate every single day? He's got all the talent in the world, but going against those guys, it forces you to be at your best every day.
Oh, blown up in the backfield. Another tackle for loss. T.J. Alford coming down the line for a loss of 2.
How about the passion, too? I mean, look, this game is far. It's over. It's over. But don't tell that to Alford.
Freshman out of Port St. Lucie. Spring training home of the New York Mets. Second down and 12. Headed off on the inside. Alford again in on the stop.
Let's go back 2 plays, and again, we highlighted this with the first team defense. Look right in the middle of your screen, the middle linebacker, 23, Garrett Stover. He's a sophomore, but he's the pilot of this defense now, communicating and getting everybody set up.
Fry to pass, he's in trouble, down he goes. Sayin Grady comes up with a sack.
There's freshman phenoms all over the field right now. The next one there is Sayin Grady, number 15, 6'4", 260 pounds. He's a 4-star, but by now you guys probably expect that 4-star, 5-star, pick your poison. There's number 15, great technique too, not leaving his feet. You don't want to jump to try to bat the ball down because that's when you give the edge to the quarterback, but he raises his hands, forces Fry to pull it down, and then finishes with the sack.
9 tackles for loss in this game for Ohio State.
They think Grady has a chance to be really, really special.
Well, Grady getting some run here in this second offense, especially in the second half, creating some turnovers. Caleb Downs has had a pick in this game. Keenholtz back in at quarterback. They hand it off, going up the middle and into Grambling State territory. That was Sam Dixon on the carry. 7 carries in his career. Pickerington North product. Jake.
And there was a great rivalry duel, crosstown duel, Pickerington North, Pickerington Central last night. And my Pickerington Panthers came out on top.
I was going to say, I was surprised you didn't go last night. We were there last year for the tussle.
I was there in spirit.
Jackson again on the carry, trying to slip through a tackle. He's got a first down though for the Buckeyes. Jake, you want to see some reserves on that offensive line?
I do, and we know how important that is based on Ohio State's season last year. But number 69, left tackle Ian Moore, another guy Ryan Day mentioned that he's excited to see today. I mean, he's got NFL size. He's 6'6", 312 pounds. Nice long arms. Next to the big number 15, Jelani Thurman. Just watch them here. They had great movement on that previous run play.
Well, the youth on that front right now for Ohio State, right up the middle. Bo Jackson to the 25-yard line.
Great technique there by Ian Moore. Just so works out. We talk about this. Watch him hit the high hip and then climb. Watch him get to the hip of the D tackle. Right there, push, climb, and then give Bo Jackson a butt to run off of. Nice pad level, skip, feel the D tackle move down, climb up to your second level. There's 83, Nate Roberts, sealing at fullback. Great job.
6'6", 315, Ian Moore. To pass, Keenholtz across the middle. Thurman. Another first down for the Buckeyes.
Rumbling, tumbling, stumbling. 6'6", 250. You know, they say offensive line is a thankless job, but not on the Big Ten Network. We're going to show some love to the big fellas in the trenches.
That's right, you should.
That's right, you should.
And it's a different game these days, right? I mean,
yes.
the leagues are different. It's more pass heavy. It's not put your hands in the ground and see who's going to win on the offensive line anymore. It's a different style of game, but still the importance of controlling that offensive line.
It's a great point. It's the engine of the offense. You cannot win without quality offensive line play.
Jackson back in at running back. Jackson gets the carry, follows that offensive line, and pushed to the 5-yard line. good lead block from the senior Ethan Onyanwa.
Yeah, look at number 78. This Onyanwa was in the battle for the tackle positions with Philip Daniels. Came in and played some snaps at right guard last week, was in there for that 15-play touchdown drive, but Onyanwa was one of their key additions in the transfer portal this year. Some people had him as a first-round offensive lineman, but lost a close battle with Philip Daniels. Now in there dominating.
Jackson on the carry again down to the 3-yard line.
Let's teach offensive linemen. It should be like music. Watch the first step, second step. You don't want elongated steps. That second step is when you should strike and then drive and run your feet. It's exactly what you're seeing right there by Onyanwa.
He is a mountain of a man. 6'7", 330.
Yeah, he's
Rice
huge.
transfer, and he's playing right guard.
He's huge.
Imagine being a corner and he's pulling, and you have to try and either avoid him or just get in his way. That's a bad business decision. High snap. Ooh, and brought down in the backfield is Jackson.
You know, that was one I thought Keenholz could have pulled. I thought he could have pulled and ran in for the touchdown.
Going to end this third quarter. We will head to the fourth. His career, 1988 to 2000. 9 rings for 9 championships.
Back to the big personnel set. That's Max Clare here. Right on the end of the line of scrimmage.
4th down and 2, and we'll have a delay. Well, that fan will have a tough night ahead and a hefty fine.
Yes. And I don't think he has an NIL package to afford it, but Max Clare, once again, he has an NIL package there at the left side of your screen. Chance to maybe get him a touchdown here.
It's 4th and 2. Play action pass, looking middle, and touchdown. They go to a different tight end. Jelani Thurman for the score.
Why not? Thurman's having quite the game. He's had a number of big catches, been in on some key blocks. Now adds a touchdown to his stat sheet. You know, I'm telling you, I was at the BTN camp tour and I'm watching Thurman get matched up against Caleb Downs, and you know, we know Caleb Downs. He's in great position. He's got Thurman covered, but look how big and long his arms are. It just didn't matter. He was able to go up and pluck the ball like catching a rebound.
$63 to nothing for Ohio State, #1 team in the country. And they are showing what they are all about today, offensively, defensively, everything. Touchdowns today by a number of different positions.
You want to count the tight ends here? This is tight end heaven. There's one, that's Thurman. There's Nate Roberts, your freshman. There's 2 more tight ends on the end. And you're just getting into play action. It's 4th and 2. That's why it's so important to be able to run the ball. Buckeyes having a ton of success. Grambling State bites, and an easy touchdown for Thurman.
Tight ends today, 107 yards through the air, couple of scores.
If they can get, they're not going to get that level of production every game, okay? But can they get the threat of that? Because that, then it becomes just a math equation. How do you stop them with the talent they have at wide receivers? How could you possibly stop them? There's just so many weapons, and I give credit to Brian Hartline. It's not easy to make sure everyone feels like they're being fed, but doing a great job of that today.
Think about how their game plan was, and we'll get into this just a moment. Still ahead, huge day of football continues. Nebraska battles Akron, and Purdue takes on Southern Illinois, followed by Washington against UC Davis. It's all tonight on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Jake, you asked Brian Hartline about the simplistic approach to last week against Texas. You got to get Julian Sayin off to a good start. He had a good start against Texas. Numbers didn't tell everything. Now he gets to open up his playbook. He gets to have some fun with some of his toys.
Yeah.
And just see what you can do on offense now.
Yeah, it's kind of just the balance there, and that's why I give credit to Hartline and Ryan Day. It's not about anyone's personal story or personal success. It's about a team win. And that's what Hartline said. You know, it's whatever it takes to lead your team to victory.
Clyde McClendon with the carry for Grambling State. Tavian St. Clair, talented freshman, 5-star. Stop me if you've heard that before. 5-star recruit.
It's like if you highlight a freshman, 4-star, 5-star. It's the standard.
Looks like he's going to get some run in this fourth quarter. After Keenholz ran the offense in the third, another carry. Good gain for McClendon. Pickup of 4. Third down and short. Grambling State running this play clock down as far as they can. McClendon stop near first down. We'll see if they move the stakes. It was Alford again on the stop, and they will give them a first down. This defense has been ferocious yet again today, Jake, and it's not just the ones, it's the twos, it's the threes.
Yeah.
They get an opportunity to compete each and every week against one another.
My first year with the Big Ten Network was 2022, and I remember being at Big Ten Media Days where Ryan Day was asked about the defense. It's when they initially went out to get Jim Knowles. Nice tackle.
Standing tackle on the outside.
But, you know,
it's Delane.
They had come off a tough loss to Michigan the season prior and had given up a ton of yards on the ground. And I know Buckeye fans were like, what are we watching here? There's a standard in Columbus. And it's been this slow, steady journey of subtle improvement every single year to where last year, one of the best defenses in college football, and then starting off the season once again, proving that they will be one of the best defenses in college football.
Shut down Arch Manning and the #1 Texas Longhorns last week. And plenty of tests moving forward as Fry trying to sneak through the defense and picks up a couple. Stover in on the stop. Mickens may have got a hand in there too.
I just find it really interesting. There's not a lot of defenses that can do or are willing to do what Matt Patricia is doing. What you're seeing here is a 5-man front. So they have 5 defensive linemen and 2 linebackers. We've seen them play a 3-man front. We've seen them play a 4-man front. We've seen them play some dollar fronts where they have linebackers playing defensive linemen. It really is an NFL playbook, and here they're doing it with their young freshmen in second and third strings.
Third down for Grambling State. Incomplete pass. Looking to get it to Andrew Frazier.
I thought number 90, Eric Mensah, was being held on the inside. A D tackle. It looked like he won his battle. Grambling had a lot of jersey, but didn't call it.
Rogers back to receive the punt. Ohio State has played 109 minutes so far this season. They've allowed just 1 touchdown.
Pretty good start. Pretty good start.
Pretty good. We'll take a Grambling State bounce inside the 15-yard line, put it at the 13. Underwood and company. Keenholz stays in the game, at least for now, for Ohio State. Like St. Clair was going to get some run, but we'll stick with Keenholz. West in the backfield again. quarterbacks today, just 2 incompletions. 1 has hit the ground as West keeps it on the ground. Pickup of 5 for Isaiah West.
You want to see a good technical double team right here. Watch the right guard, right tackle. Talking about getting hip to hip. Watch these 2 guys work in unison. Actually, that's the guard in the center. Good patience before climbing up to the linebacker.
McFadden and Deontay Armstrong. 2 on the right side of the offensive line right now. Keenholt's going to carry, get to the outside and out of bounds for a first down.
Okay, that time was the right guard, right tackle. Watch them shock Grambling State. Watch right, 72, 71. They're right there. Bang, knock him back, put him on skates, seal the edge.
Legs work for Keenholt. He was just getting a head start and getting to the bench as Tavian St. Clair comes in. St. Clair hands it off. West again. Takes a shot in the back after a gain of 4.
So Ryan Day was asked this week about Tavian St. Clair, and he said, look, the truth is this is football. We're 2 snaps away from St. Clair having to go in and take these reps. And right now St. Clair is running the scout team. Much different from running Ohio State's offense. So, you know, what is this 4th quarter about? Extremely valuable reps for Tavian St. Clair in a game setting, even just getting to go into the huddle like this and call the play, build that rapport and trust with your teammates. Really, really important.
Love his arm strength. Just trying to refine it. Hand it off again to West. Barrels his way forward for a couple. We'll go back to Chicago and Dave Revson.
Well, Jeff, how well is he going for Oregon? They've had pick 6s on consecutive throws from Oklahoma State. This is the second one. Peyton Woodyard, 69-3 after 3 quarters in Eugene.
Wow. That is a big game out of Eugene against the other OSU.
I don't know if you followed the drama there between Dan Lanning and Coach Gundy. It was a good little back and forth in the media this week, and Oregon backing it up. Dan Lanning backing it up.
Back to pass St. Clair across the middle, and it's caught. That's Roberts. His first catch. Now all the tight ends are involved.
About that, isn't that crazy? He's been blocking his butt off all game, and
Ruling on the field,
Coach Day.
incomplete pass. 4th down.
Oh, they're calling that
Oh.
incomplete. Incomplete pass. Roberts was looking for his first collegiate catch. And not to be.
Yeah, a drop won't.
Even up 63 points, not smiling. No, there's still work to do. And obviously things that you can always clean up on.
Yep. Laurinaitis cracked a smile probably because Petty John was stoning dudes. Stover played well, Reese, Styles, but Ryan Day will tell you, look, we got a long way to go.
And speaking of long way to go, here's the schedule coming up for Ohio State. Got Ohio coming up, then the bye, and then you get into the teeth of conference play. Never easy going to the Pacific Northwest and against Washington.
Huge game there. That's a long road trip. Coming off the bye, another big test, this time on the road for Julian Sayin. Illinois had a huge win against Duke. That might be a top 10 matchup by the time those teams play. Don't need to tell you about Penn State, and definitely don't need to tell you about that game Thanksgiving weekend against Michigan.
At the Big House this year, remember Michigan came into this place in frigid temperatures a year ago and upset Ohio State.
And they look like a completely different team from that moment.
Ran out of bounds. Tony Phillips on the carry. Pickup of 9. Yeah, they took that motivation from the loss against Michigan last year and turned it into just a steamrolling effort in the playoffs.
Yeah, now we that infamous team meeting, player-led meeting, and now we've learned kind of what went on a little bit behind the scenes where the players are challenging one another. It was a tense meeting. Players calling out coaches, and look, that's football. That team knew their potential last year, knew what they were capable of, and after that Michigan game, their backs were against the wall, and and they responded perfectly to bring home the national title.
The handoff.
Okay, we're done.
Keep that clock moving.
And then, you know, how interesting is it too? I mean, you worked so long to win a national championship, and there was really no time to celebrate. Ryan Day told us that the veterans on this team asked Coach pretty much a week after the national champ game, hey, take down some of the memorabilia, Coach. This is a new team. We want to carve our own path and make our own story. Pretty much from that moment on, it was full speed ahead, preparing for Texas.
Such an odd way to start your season, right? With a huge test right out of the gate.
Yeah.
And so much time to prepare for that one game. We talked about it early on in this contest. Fry goes to the outside, incomplete. Brings up third down. But you have so much time to prepare for Texas. Now this is when all your work comes in.
Yeah.
Saturday to Saturday to Saturday. You start stacking the days, you're more in routine.
Yep. And Ryan talked about the advantage of opening with the #1 team in the country at the time, Texas, because with all these new faces on both sides of the football, rather than opening with a game that you expect to completely dominate, it creates a natural intensity during practice and summer conditioning. It gives you a huge high bar and goal to strive towards, and it clearly has benefited the new starters for Ohio State.
Incomplete, brings up fourth down. Coverage on the play by Malik Hartford. Another one of these talented players that the junior has had some run over the course of his career, but now for Hartford a chance, and they wanted to get him into the ballgame last week, but the personnel and the way that Matt Patricia wanted to disguise things did not give him the opportunity to get in there.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was shocked. I mean, he's a guy that started games here. He's made plays. He's a trusted member of Ohio State's defense, but doesn't matter. They're going to need him. You need depth to make another run, so that's what he's working towards right now.
16-yard line.
Wait.
St. Clair back at quarterback. Hand it off. Big hit. Jackson lowers the shoulder, and Bo Jackson pushes forward for a few more. Gain of 8.
We've talked about the offensive line and their blocking. There's that little counter action, a couple pullers. How about number 11 there, Quincy Porter, the freshman wide receiver. He's sealing the edge on number 23, the defensive back, Jalen Gouliard for Grambling State.
They're really high on Porter, 6'4", 210 pounds out of New Jersey. They compared him a lot to Jeremiah Smith in terms of his skill set.
Same body type.
St. Clair across the middle. Oh, what a hit. Oh, man. You could see that coming from a mile away. He was trying to hit Phillip Bell in stride, and he got hammered.
You know, and it's on both guys here, too. So, Bell, that's a freshman. Ooh. You know, at some point, I don't know the rules for the offense. We were always taught you can settle down if it's zone coverage. So you don't want to run into a big hit, but you also don't want to throw your guy into a big hit. And a big hit indeed by number 23, the guy we were just talking about, Jalen Gouliard.
Third down, a rare incompletion for Ohio State today.
Like that counter.
Run it again, up the gut, cut into the outside, there goes Jackson. And out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. Bo Jackson in his first collegiate game. He knows exactly what he's doing.
I think his role is just going to continue to increase as the season goes on. Great job sealing it by the first puller. There is the tight end pulling around and taking on the linebacker. And Bo Jackson just up and through. They talk about him like he can be really, really, really special. Had a great fall camp. Again, just what he's been putting on tape today. His role will only continue to increase.
After a 51-yard run, he goes to the bench. West back in at running back. Bo Jackson, real name Lamar. So take your pick of what awesome football player you want to take after. West goes left side for 4-ish. 8 plays of 20 or more yards by 8 different players onslaught of offense from Ohio State today. Take your pick. West back in there.
It's number 87, Brody Lennon, a new tight end in the game. Back to the counter.
Lennon leading the way for West, who gets across the 20-yard line. Third down for Ohio State.
That time 76, Jake Cook, the first puller from Westerville, Ohio. Another freshman, had a nice block there, finished with a pancake. So, I mean, it's that time of game. I wouldn't be surprised if they just ran that counter once again. It looks like it could be. It's that same formation. Tight end off the ball. 87, Brody Lennon. Let's see it.
There you go. He called it. You know the formation. There goes West for a first down. Well, worked on the previous play. Run it again.
All right, here's the calls, too. We're going to go another level.
Percentage with a minimum of 10 completions in school history. And we got a jump from Grambling State. 8 of 19. The one incompletion was an interception at the goal line.
Yeah. Pretty good day, all things considered.
Offside with contact. Defense, number 15. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Columbus are always thinking football, right? How many different 4-star, 5-stars are going to be playing for the Buckeyes here pretty soon?
Great pocket presence by Red Shorts. Look at the dart tight spiral. That might be Julian Sayin's distant relative. And a great pass breakup by the next great Buckeye cornerback there.
How about our defensive end? Maybe headed somewhere else. Jackson, right side. Jackson again. Touchdown. Ohio State.
You know, I think they like this counter play. And if they don't like it, they love it. I love it. Had a ton of success.
Illegal formation. 5 men in the backfield. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, it was good until it wasn't.
Sorry, McGuire. You gotta see it. Okay, 5 men in the backfield. So there's you need another on the line. You need another on the line of scrimmage. So you got your 5 here. There's 1. You need 1 more guy up on the line of scrimmage. Here's your 5 in the backfield. So it's my math lesson for the day. I do know how to count. I just want to see him run counter again. And they're in the same formation
They
again.
might.
I think they're going to run it again.
Why not?
Okay.
It's going to be like the 5th straight time. Here it comes. Counter play. Jackson to the outside. Jackson. He reached for it. Looked like he was out of bounds before the ball popped out of his hand. Down to the 2-yard line.
I'm trying to get my eyes on running backs coach Carlos Lachlan. Yep, he's sending in the next man, number 32, Isaiah West. You don't reach with the ball. Risk for a fumble out of the back of the end zone. If you do reach, you better hang on to it. I think Lachlan is going to have a word. Bo Jackson on the sideline. Good run, though.
Yep. And Day was in there, too.
Lachlan's a big dude. I wouldn't want to, if he told me to do something, I'd listen.
Sam Dixon to the left of St. Clair. Dixon gets it. Sheds 1. Dixon down to the 1.
St. Clair, you had a touchdown. That was your chance for your first of many Buckeye touchdowns. Watch the defensive end crash right here. I assume because he's St. Clair and he has the rushing ability that's a pull look and he would have walked into the end zone. But how about Sam Dixon, though? That was almost a TFL. Turned it into a 1-yard gain.
Second down and goal for Ohio State. Dixon again. Dixon in. Touchdown Buckeyes. His first career touchdown.
And what a way to end the game. I'm biased because I'm from Pickerington, Ohio, but Sam Dixon is from Pickerington, Ohio. program for a few years. Back to that counter play. Roberts leading the way. Great job clearing it out, and Sam Dixon, just look at those strong, thoroughbred horse legs. Keeps him churning. And he's in for 6.
For point number 70. Ooh, and it goes through off the deflection. Everything going Ohio State's way today.
Will we see a smile from Ryan Day?
I doubt it. Not until tomorrow.
That's a football coach, yep.
It's going to be the largest margin of victory for the Buckeyes in 6 years. 70-0. 651 total yards for the Buckeyes. Here's the tip.
Ooh. So that is Foley on number 71, McFadden, the offensive lineman. Got to protect the inside gap on field goal. It's the shortest distance. Another geometry lesson to you. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, Jeff.
It's geometry 101 right there, buddy.
Tell you what, you will learn something when you watch the Big Ten Network.
We learned a lot. We learned again for the second straight week.
Ohio State is now playing as number 66.
Have a difference in numbers here being reported, but we learned why you re-kick,
Yes.
right? On penalties, on punts. You make them kick again.
You taught us about photosynthesis last week.
I did.
We learned counter this week, the deuce call, how to be a good offensive lineman.
So multiple first career touchdowns today. Bo Jackson, Sam Dixon, 10 touchdowns by 9 different players. The only multiple touchdowns came from Jeremiah Smith.
Which seems fitting. It makes sense.
We talked about him in the open about getting his Heisman candidacy going. And today was a good start at an 87-yard touchdown reception. The second longest TD reception in program history. And it's the third longest play in Ohio State history.
Got a feeling we will see Jeremiah's name atop a number of different records.
I think that you are right, my friend. Impressive day from the Ohio State Buckeyes. And they get back into the routine. Ryan Day, I'm sure, will try and pick something apart. We'll run it up the middle. More than likely our final play of this ball game.
Why not end with another talented freshman, Zion Grady.
Had a sack in this ball game. And that indeed will be our final play, I think.
I had fun with you today, Jeff.
It's a blast, buddy.
It was a great game.
I'm going to try and run one more play. I don't think so. Time is going to run out on Grambling State, and that's going to do it. 70-0. Ohio State's touchdowns today covered 209 yards. Grambling State had just 166 yards of total offense today. Ryan Day, Mickey Joseph exchanging pleasant